Morning, Tram. Sorry about that.
No worries. Is this Tony?
Yeah, this is Tony. It's nice to meet you.
Likewise, nice to meet you.
Sorry about that. Apparently, there was a glitch with the passwords, and because of that, Karen, hello.
Not an issue.
Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. Good morning. Good to see you. Just as an FYI, I'm going to be hopping in and out. I'm multitasking. I'm at a conference,
Okay.
a virtual conference, and then I want to also participate in this. So just as an FYI. So I'm going to go off video, but it's good seeing you. Hi, Melinda.
We had glitches this morning.
Yeah, I was wondering because we typically join at about 8:30. So I was wondering what was happening.
Well, it's like everybody is on vacation, so it's like Melinda and Rosemary and myself, and that's about it today. And
Okay.
the people who had the
We've got the all-star crew then.
Yeah, the people who had the passwords.
Oh.
All right. Well, best wishes. And I'll see you guys later.
No problem. Okay.
Tony, how are you this morning?
Running behind. There we go. It's been a crazy morning today. Oh, the whole week has been insane. You know, we have my boss has now delegated responsibilities of her email to other staff members, which is great. But the problem is that now, you know, people are going through and she hasn't really been on top of her emails for the past 2 or 3 weeks since the book launched. And because of that, she's literally been insane. And there was an email she got 2.5 weeks ago notifying her that we had to have a video submitted back on the 2nd of June for her for a presentation that she's doing tomorrow. So we were over to her house last night with a video crew until like 11 o'clock at night trying to get this thing done.
Sounds like fun.
Tony, are you okay with the final question? Since it's the three of us?
Of course.
Cool. And you've got the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony,
Okay.
when you get a moment, would you please post in the workspace the credentials somehow, somewhere?
Yeah, so that we know how to get in, because I spent an hour and a half this morning and half an hour last night.
I went into the main thing and put the right password in.
Okay, we don't know the password. That's the problem.
It's the same one we all use for everything.
It didn't work for either of us.
You have to do it in the right spot.
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
Fine. We can talk about it later.
Yeah.
but
Yeah. We'll go over it, but you have to put it in the right spot. Because I was doing the same thing. And we kept trying to let me in as a regular user. And then finally I sat there and went into the admin section of the account and opened it up. And then it let me put the password in and it worked.
Okay, I wasn't being able to open the account because I didn't have the password.
Okay. It's the one that we all share that's on the.
I know.
Okay.
Anyway, later. Sorry, guys.
How are you?
When you're here early, you get to hear some of our leadership stuff.
All right,
Aiden.
Melinda, I made you co-host, so there we go.
Right.
Anybody else who comes in, you got an eye on that.
Yep.
So, well, hopefully we didn't, yeah, well, most people usually.
Oh, I have to send a text to next week's speaker because he was trying to get in.
Okay.
I invited him to.
Disorganized, I apologize. We usually are more on top of the ball with this, and usually you have no problems at all. Everything is seamless.
Tony, are you good with Facebook? Because you're the only one that can do it as host.
Yeah, let's figure that out. Hang on.
Tram, while they're doing that, I just wanted to let you know, Melinda's going to MC, so she's going to run through the first few slides. And then after you do your presentation, I'll moderate the questions. So what I'll do is I'll go in order of people who say they want to ask you a question or make a comment or suggestion. And we usually have a couple dozen people at least on the call. So you probably want to take it in, make as short a reply as you deem appropriate for yourself, and then we can get more questions in that way. We do save the chat and share it with you afterwards. And we're recording, so you'll get a recording as well. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you, Rosemary.
You're welcome. And then at the end, at about, Tony, we don't have a follow-up this week, do we, from a prior presenter?
I'm not
So,
aware of anybody.
yeah, so we'll probably wrap up around 10 of the top of the hour. And then we'll have one final question, and then we'll wrap it up for the day.
By the way, Tony, we're recording right now. You may want to stop it just for a little while, or maybe I can.
No, I'm trying to get the Facebook Live going.
Oh, okay. Got it. Got it.
Okay. Unfortunately, it's going to my personal one, not the group one.
What if you have the other one open ahead of time, the group one?
Let me try it. Hang on.
I think we need a session on starting meetings in Facebook.
This is the problem when the 5 people who know how to do it all sit there and say they're not going to be here today.
Right. We can obviously assume people haven't been able to get in earlier. It's almost 9 o'clock. Hey, Sylvia, I just saw you joined.
Hello, good morning. Yeah, my camera is off. I'm the opposite.
Oh, that's in settings.
That.
Yeah, that's in
Yeah,
settings.
no, but I don't know what happened. It was normal and now I'm the opposite. So it's kind of weird. But yeah,
I'm
how's
trying to see
everyone?
if your screen is backwards. I can't read the writing on the screen to tell whether it is or not.
Yeah, it's backward. That, yes, but also my face.
It's not Monday, right?
No, it's Wednesday. I don't know what happened.
It's hump day. That's the problem.
Is it like a full moon, a lot of solar flares or something, and technology is kind of acting squirrely today? I don't know.
I guess maybe. I'll check it out after the call.
If you need help, holler at me. I can show you where.
Okay.
Hey,
Good morning,
Kevin.
Melinda. How are you, Melinda?
Good to see you. We need to set up a time to talk, which I'd like
Okay.
to.
Okay. I will, after the meeting, I'll give you a call.
And I'm really glad that you could get in.
Thank you. I'm glad I got in too.
We're just going to go ahead and start. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to upload it later to Facebook because it's not letting me in. The account. It keeps defaulting into my personal one. All right.
Perfect.
So we are at time. So it's now 9:02. MC, go ahead and take it away.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's me. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Sorry for the confusion as us getting the meeting started. Please log in on your phone to on the app. If you don't have the app, you can download the app. We do this so that you can see who's at the meeting and communicate with them later, as well as make sure that you're on our mailing list. Next slide, please. 1 Million Cups is an entrepreneurship, community, and education organization. Next slide, please. The mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connections for all types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the United States. Our key pillars are presentations, not pitches, authentic connections, not networking. We're run for the community, by the community. Our culture, it's safe and supportive environment. 1 Million Cups is co-owned by all who show up and support. Radical and intentional inclusion, organizers, presenters, and attendees. 1 Million Cups is all volunteer led. We rotate new organizers often, and we fuel your presentation pipeline together as a community. So we all work together to help the presenter solve their challenge. Next question, or next slide, please. So welcome. We get together weekly all the time on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. And would like you to log into Facebook Live right now and share this with your friends. You can also share the content after the meeting, and we will also like to provide feedback in the Zoom chat. So as the meeting is progressing, if you've got any comments or anything, please put them in the chat. In the meantime, also, please sign into the chat with your name and your contact information so that the speaker can follow up with you. Next slide, please. Our organizers. Most of the time, we have a lot of us here. Danelle Johns, Jen Dalton, Tony Barnett, Myosha Mendis, John Yu, John Ruttenberg, Renetta Jones, Marnie Miller, and Rosemary Savino, and myself. Today, we have 3 of us. Next slide, please. We have 2 sponsors this time. Office Evolution is always our coffee sponsor, office sponsor. And Sylvia, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sylvia Ferguson, and I'm the Business Center Manager here at Office Evolution in Tyson's Corner. We provide affordable and beautiful office space, such as private offices, conference room, shared offices, and virtual services as well. So if you are in need or you want to know more, just reach out to me. I will put my information in the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Sylvia. Dan, I saw you in the audience. Can you tell us all about Golden Rule?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Dan Linder. I'm the co-founder of Golden Rule Home Watch and Concierge. We take care of and oversee vacant and unoccupied homes in properties in Northern Virginia. Our clients are snowbirds, people that go south or west for the winter, professional athletes who leave Virginia for the off season. We have some Washington Nationals, and people in the Foreign Service or State Department that buy a home but are not back to the United States yet, and they may be still deployed for a year or so. In doing this, every week I would like to share one of the lessons that I have learned in starting a business. And this week, I guess I was thinking about success takes time. What I would tell people is don't worry if business does not come immediately. Give yourself time to learn, perfect your craft, perfect your operations, and work on your processes. If I had all the business that I wanted right away, I probably would have messed it up or screwed it up. And your reputation depends on this. So though I have to say that fear of failure is often a great motivator for entrepreneurs. I hope this is helpful. Dan Linder, Golden Rule Home Watch and Concierge. Love to talk to any of you. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. Love your tidbits. They're wonderful. Next slide, please. So this is how our meetings work. First of all, everybody, please mute your mic. The speaker will be starting their presentation shortly. To ask questions, what you need to do is find the raise hand button and raise your hand. And if you also want to put the question into the chat, we monitor the chat. The reactions button is on the raise hand. Or raise hand is in the action section. The moderator will then call your name and then unmute yourself. Then you say your name, who you are with, and then you ask your question or make your comment. Please keep it short because we will want to get a lot of people in with a lot of questions. And then when you're done, put your microphone back on mute and you're finished and the next speaker will be up. Next slide, please. Today, our presentation is Aboutcome. Welcome, Aboutcome.
Thank you, Melinda. Good morning, everyone, and good morning to the organizing team. Thank you for inviting me to join you this morning. I'm really excited about being here because I'm going to talk to you about Aboutcome. So let me start by introducing myself. My name is Tram Hun. I have a psychology background. I am pursuing my clinical training at Johns Hopkins University Counseling Center, and I am here as a co-founder of Aboutcome. So Aboutcome is really coming from a desire to solve major societal problems, and I'm going to talk more about those problems. But let me first start by saying that this is the first patient-centric platform that is going to match patient and therapist, and also provide access to critical information so that patient can achieve measurable mental health outcomes. So I'm going to start with that description, and then I'm going to talk to you about the issues that we are seeing as an organization. So in the US alone, 1 in 5 adults have a mental health illness. And mental health illness and substance abuse cost US businesses up to $100 billion every year. Right, so we have a lot of people suffering. We have a lot of productivity issues as a result of mental health illnesses. We also know from studies that if patient engages in treatment, they should see clinical improvements by the 8th sessions, the majority of patients coming to therapy. The problem that we're seeing is that the majority of people, up to 70% of people who are in treatment, leave too prematurely. They leave before the 8th session. They leave after the 2nd session because they're not seeing a good fit between them and their therapist. They don't feel they can trust the therapist. The alliance is not there. They lack a sense of motivation. They don't see improvements quick enough. And also they don't feel they know what's going on. There's a lack of treatment transparency. So because of those reasons, patients tend to drop out too soon. And so our model is really designed to address those problems, to make sure that people adhere to treatment and get what they hope for and what they deserve. Right? By using our platform, clients or patients, I use the words interchangeably. Patients should achieve desirable, measurable treatment outcomes by being matched with the right therapist, by using our platform. And we also want to make sure that we empower the patient to get the information that they need to make informed decisions for themselves and for their family. And that's how we will make sure that patients achieve what they want out of therapy. And next, I'm going to talk to you more about what it is that we are offering. So we are using a unique algorithm for matching based on research. So we're going to do 3 levels of matching to make sure there's a fit between the client and the therapist in terms of their cultural background, the gender, their sexual background, to mention a few. We also make sure that their approach of the clinician match with the way that the patient thinks about themselves and about the world. And then we make sure that there is a fit in terms of their alliances, their personality. We also make sure that a patient can access information in a timely fashion. Whenever they need that information, they can access it through our portal. And we also make sure that they can schedule an appointment right away so that they know that help is on the way. They feel a sense of hope and relief. And so how are we going to finance this model? So we're going to offer therapists a tiered paid membership model. They can opt for a standard model where they get referrals through our system, or they can also upgrade to a premium model where they get maybe access to a network of other professionals, and they can also achieve training, they can obtain supervision. So we're working on that model as well. And they can even go further up if they want to access other services to make their lives easier, so they can focus on what they love and what they're good at doing. And on the patient side of it, if patients want to really know what's going on with the treatment, with their mental health, they can access all kind of analytics. So we're going to make it very patient oriented, so they know what progress they're making at any given time, and they can have discussions with their clinician to make sure that they're both on the same page. We are going to focus initially on early adopters, and we have identified those being psychology students. So any students who are in the mental health field we would like to approach them, to recruit them, to really know whether this is something they will benefit from. So those students are usually much aware of the problem that they have. And of course, everybody has a mental health issue at some point, right? We have conflicted feelings about something or somebody. They're aware of those problems and they're very eager to seek a solution. And those students, individuals are usually very eager to refer their friends and family if they think this product is beneficial to them. Just quickly on the competitive analysis. So we used two different criteria to map our competitors or other brands. So really in terms of the degree of matching, right? People want to find a therapist of a good fit. So we want to make sure that we are going to match the client at 3 different levels. And also how much information are we providing patients, or how much empowerment are we offering? So those are the 2 criteria that we have used. And here you can see that we are in the space where nobody is at this point. And that's where we want to capture a lot of attention and really bring value to the market, because that's where the consumers are. Just to quickly tell you a little bit about how we see the market size. So by 2026, we should see a market size of $9 billion US dollars, and we intend to capture about $275 million using the membership model and also the patient analytical model. So this is where we should be in 2026. And I think that's more or less where I am with the presentation. But the question that I would really like to maybe discuss with everyone here is to talk more about the to-go market strategy, right? So our idea is to recruit early adopters, being psychology students. But could we also look at maybe college students who have, of course, mental health issues, being adolescents, being away from home, or we could also look at entrepreneurs. We know many of them suffer from famous depression or medical students. So the question is, should we focus on a specific population right now, or should we do that as opening up to the broader public to see who would be attracted to our program? So that's the question I have for everyone here.
Well, that was a great presentation, Tran. Thank you so much for telling us about your business. Appreciate hearing about it. The next part of our meeting is our opportunity to ask you questions and make some suggestions. And what I would like to remind the folks that are here, please raise your hand through the reactions button or physically. I can see most of you on my screen. And when I point at you, please go ahead and state your name, the company you're with, and then go for it. So I'll start with Kevin. Please don't forget to unmute yourself.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Tran. That was a very nice presentation. Having been a consumer of counseling services, not for myself, but for a family member, this is extraordinarily interesting to me. I'm thinking as far as a target, instead of the wider net you cast, the more fish you're going to catch. So what pops into my mind immediately looking at this is on your portal, on the first page, you can have them separated out. You can have, are you a student? And a button for, are you a student? And another button for, are you an entrepreneur? And then they can click on the appropriate button and then just go off and answer the appropriate questions for their situation and go through the process.
Gotcha. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Kevin. Melinda, you are up, and then I will ask a question after you.
Thank you. Excellent presentation, Tran. One of the target audiences I think you're missing is the practitioners. And that may also be a way to find more users, and you may be able to, I don't know if you charge for your service and how much you charge, but it might be a way that if practitioners bring some of their clientele on and it gives them a way that they can comment and do things and show they're happy or help their friends or whatever it might be. Once upon a time, a long time ago, I worked for Neutrogena, and we targeted the consumers through retailers, and we targeted the estheticians and a lot of the professional dermatologists and other people like that. And I think that there may be another hidden market where you may be able to get a lot of support. You also may be able to get the endorsement of maybe some of the psychiatrists, psychologists, boards, so that you can say that you're backed by. And I did this again with another organization, getting the Skin Cancer Foundation to endorse the brand, which was huge. It was a sun care product. So some of those things like that. There may be also some trade associations that you can reach out to a lot of practitioners through. So just wanted to throw out a couple of ideas to see if they might be useful for you.
They're all wonderful. Thank you, Melinda.
Okay, I will ask my question then. Ken, you're on deck, and after Ken, Tony. So Tram, again, great presentation, thank you. I understand that you have a background in this particular field, so that's awesome. I want to kind of extend Melinda's suggestion a little bit and add a little something as well. Reaching out to your colleagues, people you know professionally, if you're a member of a professional association, and offering them the opportunity to beta test with you for free is a great way to start getting the other side, not the patient side, but the practitioner side engaged. And extending that, I've gone to your website and it says coming soon. I would recommend that you think about saying, want to be part of our beta as opposed to coming soon, and collect a lot of folks in through that. I want to be a beta tester. If you have capability to get them help now, great. If you don't, make sure when they sign up, you say, we're collecting interested parties now. We'll let you know, because I see that you have a contact us section at the bottom of your website. Set an expectation about timing, and and then work through it. What you'll find is, going directly back to your challenge question, what you'll find is people who put their hand up to work with you, who want to work with you, and then continue working with you, you'll find a golden thread. It may be their psychology students, it may be their college students, it may be that they come out of some wacky place that you don't even think about right now. But you'll find that golden thread, and that will be the answer to your target as early adopters. I think your idea about getting psychology students engaged is perfect, because you're seeding their expectations as practitioners to use your platform. That is a great long-term strategy. But short-term, people are going to find your website, especially if your metadata is good for the SEO. So if you're not working with a web designer or a web marketing company, you may want to think about that. But going from there forward, it's a nice, clean design. I would just say, instead of coming soon, join our beta.
Yeah.
And that way you'll start to get real people signing up.
Awesome.
Okay.
Idea.
Ken, I'm going to ask you to go next. And then just a reminder, if people could please put your feedback and your comments in the chat, that'd be great.
Good
Go,
morning.
Ken, go.
I'm going to ask you a totally unhelpful question for you, and I apologize for that. It's the first time that I've heard that founders' depression is a thing. So could you take a moment and talk a little bit about that? And what I do is I consult with entrepreneurs, and I also have had the black dog plaguing me for decades.
Mhm.
So this is a crossover point that I was completely oblivious to. If you could just take a minute and talk about the thing.
Of course, Kenneth. So founder depression has been identified as being a huge issue, right? We have a lot of founders who put all their energy, all their resources into this project that they think is their love of life, right? They put all their time in there. And when they face setups, they feel they themselves are a failure. They feel they are failing, not the project or their idea. So they feel like a failure, and it's very difficult for them to see to find motivation to continue, see hope, everything just seems so hopeless. And that's when many of them stop the project, discontinue, and do something else. So that's where I see a lot of opportunities for us to help those people understand, separate themselves from their idea and who they are as people. They have a lot of great, they have ideas, but these ideas are not them. It's two different things. And so help them understand how to deal with setbacks can help them become more successful.
Marvelous. Thank you.
Tony, you're up.
Thank you, Tran. Again, everybody's wonderful presentation. It's the product is what I really was expecting, and I'll format this with the fact that I do have experience in trying to bring to market apps that help connect patients to physicians. All right. And there is a catch-22 involved with it. And that is the fact that the foundational piece of all patients is whether or not their insurance is going to cover the service, which means that you have to then go through your insurance to find an approved doctor so that your insurance will cover it. The insurance companies love any resource that will help a patient connect to a physician, especially a physician that's on their approved list. Here's the problem. The insurance companies like to do things themselves. So when you come to them presenting an idea that you want to partner with them in some way to help launch an app or launch a product that helps them facilitate that process, invariably what they'll do is they'll steal the idea. Okay. There are some people who will argue with me on this, but I know 3 different companies who've tried to do this over the years, and each and every time it comes to the same thing. The insurance company listens to the pitch, hires a bunch of software developers, and writes the product themselves. Now, that being said, I see a huge value in this because of the fact that my frustrations over the years, not necessarily for me personally, but for my family in getting services, is the fact that a lot of physicians that are approved sometimes are so booked that you can't get an appointment for 6 to 8 months to a year, which is unfortunate because of the fact that they're in such demand, at least where we are here in the DC area. Surprise, surprise. That there's a difficulty in actually connecting with a physician, let alone finding one that's even available to see you when you feel you need them. I'm sure as a physician, in this industry, when a patient feels the need to step forward or reach out, or a family member on behalf of a potential patient needs to reach out, their frustration is the fact that they can't find someone right away or they just can't get an appointment. And I think that may be part of what is the benefit of your app is perhaps, if you be able to provide not just face-to-face, but perhaps a longer, wider breadth of perhaps virtualization and virtual patient therapy, because I know that that's becoming more and more prevalent when a physician can't see someone in person, but is more efficient doing something like this when they're doing a remote virtualization connection. But reaching out to and trying to find organizations that connect patients, or not connect patients, but that help facilitate or manage insurance for physicians might be another path for you, because you need more doctors on the app and then get patients who sit there and respond to it. Otherwise, as it's been brought up already, when you're trying to get medical students to participate, the medical students will probably spend all of it 10, 15 minutes on it, say, okay, I get how this works, and then go on to something else. Sorry, I didn't mean to take that long.
No, it's wonderful. So we are going to offer telemental health as well. This is going to help both clinician, but also the patient to access mental health. So it's going to be a virtual platform for that too.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. So Melinda has a question, then I have another question for you. Don't forget, everybody, if you have a question or a comment, please raise your hand physically or through reactions, and feel free to put something in the chat as well, and we'll be looking there also. Melinda?
I love Tony's idea about insurance companies. It opened my eyes to another organic fit, and that's doctors' offices. I mean, I see my doctor regularly because I have type 2 diabetes, but every time I go in for an appointment, they always ask the mental health questions. And my doctor I've been with the same practice for 15 years, and they have referred me to specialists. So I think if you could hit some of the medical practices, and a lot of them have become conglomerates and big or part of insurance companies and hospitals, there may be a way to tie in everything that you're doing to the big picture of when that patient sees their regular physician. And I mean, they always say, well, are you stressed? Do you have problems at home? Do you have this? Do you have that? They write down whatever you say, because now they have to give you your complete report, and you can read what the doctor says about what you're saying, which I think is great, because at one point, I don't know if I had said something or not, and all of a sudden I saw it in the report, so I questioned it the next time. But I think if you go for the major practitioners that are medical doctors that refer patients to get help when they really need help, because they can't do that. That will be another way to feed into your database. And even if they just refer them to your database and you have a referral program, and you put together a referral program for something like this, where you give them back possibly, I don't know how you're going to make money. I don't know if you're going to have advertising per se, or testimonial type advertising, so it's softer. But and that's another question: how are you going to make money with what you're doing?
So the client's going to use this platform for free, but we are going to charge clinicians to use our platform. They're going to pay a membership, depends on which tier they want to have. So it depends if they want standard or premium or elite membership.
And that is the client, or is that the practitioner that's going to pay for that?
That's going to be the practitioners.
So that may be another thing that you can build into it, because if they give you referrals or do a lot of things, maybe you have a ambassador level or something.
Yeah, gotcha.
Thanks, Melinda. I have a question or a recommendation for you, Tram, and then Dan Lender, and then John Foster after me. So Tram, have you investigated referral networking at all? I had mentioned earlier, I think some folks had mentioned talking to your professional contacts, your associates. There are a lot of organizations that could benefit from having a trusted party to refer patients to, whether it's, for example, the school health clinic, whether it is crisis hotlines, whether it's police departments or social work. I think with what kind of social friction and fractions are happening today, that there's a real demand for social workers that is unfulfilled at the moment, and it's leading to a lot of transparency around the level of mental health issues in society today. And there may be a way to connect with social work schools, for example, and social work promoters. I know, for example, in New York City, they have a very tight relationship with their health system that helps them dispatch social workers to situations along with the police to help with that. So that's something you may want to investigate in your local area to see how they handle that, and then use that as a model to take that statewide, nationwide, however you want to do that. So I'll put that in the chat as something to think about as referral. And then, I'm sorry, go ahead, Tram.
You know, they're wonderful ideas. We initially thought of like university counseling centers. I work there myself. I know that we can see all students. We can see them for maybe 2 sessions, and then we need to refer them out. This could be a good tool for them. That's just one example. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Dan Lender, please go. And then John Foster, you're on deck.
Good morning. Good morning, Tram. Thank you for the information. Northern Virginia, as everybody knows, is a very diverse area with lots of people from lots of places in the world. So I think, and I think of my wife worked in as a nurse in a GI center, and they would have different people that spoke different languages and were from different cultures interact with different populations. So I can almost guarantee that if you would contact people that if you speak another language besides English, because it's English, a lot of people in Northern Virginia English is not their first language. I think there's a great opportunity there right in front that you may be able to take advantage of.
Yeah.
Great idea, Dan. John Foster.
Hello, Tram. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
So I love the presentation and really where you're going, because I do believe that, this is I'll say underserved, and kind of like what we're going through, I'll say just in a very big picture of things, we're undergoing a fundamental transformation, the way business is done and the way we find people and the way we network. And so the question I have for you, and just because of what I do, I always go back to LinkedIn, and I think I found you on LinkedIn as a doctoral psychology student or internship.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you're going through this process, I think one of the things to think about is, your social media presence as you're developing this out, because that's going to help give you, not only from a networking standpoint, but I think it also can provide you valuable feedback. So as you're building this, you'll kind of be able to figure out where you are going.
Mm-hmm.
And so by, feedback from people in the network, and I think particularly in today's day and age, that the social networking is going to be really key to help you continue to develop this out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking into social media and how to increase our presence. So I have a lot to learn about this new space.
So I'll just throw one thing out real quick is, so I actually teach 2 classes on LinkedIn during the week, and so they're free and open to anybody. So if you're inclined, I'll post that in the chat.
Please do that.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Tony, you had another question, and then I have some additional comments, Trent.
Yeah, Trent, this is more of, I guess, going back to a comment than a question. But as part of your challenge question, you're trying to find early adopters and beta testers. What success have you had so far? Have you already tapped into a particular area that's gotten people who have, who've opted in, or have you gotten, found resistance?
So, so far I've been talking to a lot of psychology students, interviewing them, about their experience, looking for a therapist, what made them terminate with their therapist. I've talked to a lot of psychology students around the country, and not just in New York City. All of them have told me about this exact issue, and they're looking for something that's going to help them find a better match. They're very eager to try this out. They're very eager to explore it and give me feedback. So there's a huge desire for this platform, for this algorithm.
And who's doing the software development side? Are you doing it yourself, or have you hired an outside company?
We have a back-end developer and a front-end developer working on the MVP right now. We hope to finish it in 2 weeks' time, test it, start looking for people to test it. So we should be ready with the MVP in a few weeks. So we have those people. Yeah.
There are online, this is me coming from the software world now, again. There are organizations out there that you can Google them and find them, where they are open testers. In other words, you can have them, you can post out that you're looking for someone to test an application for you. I'll send you a link later. I have your email, so I'll send that to you. But you can go apply to them, and what they'll do is they'll sign up. You can have them sign an NDA so that they don't go around and share what they've learned. But what you can do is just have general people who don't necessarily need the services, but who can go in and drill in, and they're expert at really trying to break things. Because that's one of the fundamental things that you really need. And I thought the thought occurred to me almost on a humorous basis. That's why I asked. Is the worst thing possible is when someone really needs some help with something, and then they go to the app that they have been assured will help them, and then it doesn't work because for whatever reason they did, it just bombs out. And that's just adding fuel to the fire, so to speak. Of frustration. But having someone who can, in large mass, go through and bang, hammer on an application, trying to figure out, because the other part of it is you're going to have a learning curve with everybody who who you expect to use this. I've learned that also is the fact that some people have a real difficult time trying to use an app that, from your standpoint and from the developer standpoint, should be very straightforward, very common sense.
Yeah.
And then they sit there and try and use it, and they just get confused or they get frustrated. And that just compounds the issue of what they're trying to achieve in the first place.
Absolutely.
So I'll send you a link on that. Because basically looking at med students, they know what to expect. They know what to look for. Someone who doesn't know what to look for, who's a novice, in regards to what you're doing, because you're really trying to, reach out to people who are not fluent in, in receiving, counseling services. Is basically the bottom line. So making it, as easy and usable as possible is a big hurdle to get over. All the other aspects of it can work from the physician side and from what your intent is, but getting people to sit there and just, make it easy to use and be able to give you feedback on that would be even bigger.
Agree. Thank you.
Okay.
Awesome feedback, Tony. Love the feedback from everyone here. It's been very insightful, I think, Tram. You'll look back after imagining that you're done drinking from this fire hose at the chat and see how many nuggets are still there. I had a couple of other suggestions, and Melinda, I see you have your hand up, so we'll go there. I want to go back for a moment to social media. Even if you do not have fluency, there are a number of vendors who will work with you who are extremely fluent in social media. And your job will be really to work with them on who you are, what your business is, and how you want to speak to your clients. And you can do short-term or longer-term contracts with those folks. So you don't need to hire somebody for that. You don't need to become an expert yourself. You can just find really good people. I know a few folks. The other thing that I would recommend is, as you are very early stage and you are in a very hot sector, health tech, you may want to look up accelerators for startups. There are a number of them, and they love health tech startups because it's, as I mentioned, a hot field. People are interested in investing. And most accelerators are supported by mentors who are experts in the various parts of creating startups, getting them, populated with users, working on technical and operational and sales issues, and then finding you investors. So I have my contact information in the chat, but I'll put it again, and feel free to reach out if you want some help on that. Are you in the New York City area? I mean, I picked on New York, but.
Yeah, I'm just outside. So I go to school there, but I'm outside New York. I'm in New Jersey. I'm moving to Connecticut next month to New Haven. So around that area, the Tribeca area.
The reason I bring it up is there's a lot of very, what should I say? Full cash type investor accelerators in the New York area. I would recommend that you find some group that's not looking to take equity, but out of the goodness of their heart, in order to support technology startups, is looking to do work. And then the mentors they have are looking for business, which is why they become mentors. So Like I said, happy to schedule a one-on-one after to talk a little more detail about that aspect of startup work. I think it could be very helpful for you. The other, and the last comment I'll make is back to the referral network development and the referral model. Another good area to look is pharmacists. Now, more so in New York City than here in the suburbs, or even in New Jersey or Connecticut suburbs. You have a lot of local pharmacists. They're not part of a CVS chain. They're not yet part of a Walgreens chain. They are frontline workers, candidly. People will come in looking to self-medicate one way or the other. And helping them to help their client to really get cured would be a value add for them. And because they're local, they'll be able to spread that word for you really well. You may want to pick a local pharmacist that you can get to know well and ask them to also be part of your beta. And then that way you can actually get fairly quickly. They'll know both practitioners because they write the scripts, and the clients because they come in looking to either fill the scripts or self-medicate. Hopefully not with bogus scripts. Anyway.
Okay. There's so many good ideas. I'm writing down like a crazy person right now.
Dan, I am not impugning the integrity of your group in any way. Quite the opposite.
You are a smart person, Rosemarie. You are a smart person.
Melinda, I know you have some comments.
Actually, I want to add something about the pharmacists in New York and New York drugstores. That is the biggest network in the country. And one of the ways you can reach them, there's a trade publication called Chain Drug, and then there's another one called Drugstore News. And they also put on trade shows. They both have pharmacist directed programs and issues that they put together. That's another thought. And a lot of what I was starting to think about and wanted to give you is an idea for content. This is a really great time for you to get content. We're just coming through a pandemic. A lot of people have been really depressed. They've lost family. There's been a whole bunch of stories that you can put together to make it very timely, and how your service can help these people. It can appeal to the national media, television. You could do blogs, you could have podcasts, you could have stories to run in local publications, online media, online websites, but you could really put together a whole bunch of really great content, and that will drive people to you. I would even say driving the content to a lot of the publications that people still read. They may read them online, like Vogue or Cosmopolitan, and a lot of publications like that, because people find themselves in those magazines and read and get them regularly. There was a time in my life where I always had to have my Cosmo. But seriously, I think it's an evening news story too. And since you're in the New York metro area, you may be able to find one of the local, well, actually, you can get all the morning talk shows because you're in New Jersey. I mean, that's a natural, letting them know that you're an entrepreneur. You developed this business during the pandemic because there were so many people out there that were depressed, and the suicide rates and a lot of other things really have shown up with big numbers that can drive a conversation where you can talk to some of the folks. And all of the networks have medical staff, and they have medical folks that go on air and talk about things, and you could be interviewed. So I think that's a really great way to get some visibility. You can then use the videos on your website. You can start collecting things in YouTube for more information and build just a whole toolbox of content.
Gotcha.
Great, awesome, Melinda. And just to expand that a little bit, on your website, you have some articles, Trim. You might want to add more articles, add a separate, I know your website is under construction and you're working on that. but adding rich content like videos, like interviews. You can have a mock interview set up as content, an article, that sort of thing. Okay, any other comments or questions from the attendees? Going once? All right, then I will turn it over to Mr. Tony Barnett for our final question. Take it away, Tony.
Tram, thank you very much for presenting your company today. I know that it takes a little bit of bravery on your part to be able to open yourself up in a forum like this and to provide information about you as you're building your company and sharing your ideas. One last comment before I may ask my last question is this: make sure that your intellectual property is protected. I'm sure you already have thought about that in some way, or someone may have made a comment, but whenever you have an innovative idea, there is always someone out there to sit there and try and take it, like I said before. If you have your ducks in a row with an attorney who can get things together for you and make sure that you have certain pieces in place, that's a good step. Also, the little things like trademarking and other things, as I'm sure with a unique name, that you've probably already gone that process as well. But that's just, my advice is just be careful and make sure that you're protected as you move forward, because it's a wonderful idea and a wonderful concept. So thank you. As on behalf of everybody here, I'd like to go ahead and ask you, on behalf of 1 Million Cups, how can our community help you in the future?
Well, you've helped me so much just this morning, asking me all these questions and all the comments. I'm really overwhelmed in a very positive way. I'm so appreciative of your time. And I guess I just want to stay connected to you, talking to you maybe offline, and even join you next week and really listen to other stories and hear questions that you have for other people. I would love to be part of this community. Yeah.
And everybody who wants to stay in contact with you has posted their information in the chat. We'll share the chat file with you. I may not get to it in the next hour or so, but one of us on the team here will certainly send it off to you, as well as the link to the video once we get that uploaded to YouTube and to Facebook. I apologize for the glitches this morning when we got started, but I think it worked out to be a wonderful meeting for you. And I'm very happy that you got some great information. So thank you all, and thank you everybody else. Melinda, go ahead and let's move on.
Great presentation, Tran.
Thank you.
Next week, we have Nude Organics. They are a cosmetic company. Next slide, please. And after that, we've got a lot of openings. So we need all of you to think about, who do you know that's an entrepreneur that would be a good fit for presenting? We've got a couple people in the hopper, and we really are anxious to fill our pipeline with great speakers, great presenters like all of you. Next slide, please. Upcoming events. With the Central Fairfax Chamber, we've received a list from them. And then I just wanted to know, Karen, are you on the call right now? Do you have any events you want to share? I know you're in one right now.
Karen's not on the call anymore.
Oh, okay. So, and I know Jennifer, you're not on the call right now either, are you?
Correct.
Okay, so we've got Young Professional Monthly Meeting, and that's today. It's actually a Zoom meeting, so anybody can get on it. Women Mean Business, this is a monthly thing for the women's group with the chamber, and this month they're doing on the reboot, Building Your Business Back Better, with Coach Marvin Powell. And I will say Marvin Powell is really great with his information, and he's also a member of 1 Million Cups. He comes to our meetings. Ooh, here comes Danelle. Additionally, we have Young Professionals Quarterly Networking on the patio on the 30th, which is next Wednesday. And then the annual day pre-parade networking breakfast. Save the date, it's 7/3 July 3rd. More dates to save on the calendar are their business after business at the Capitol Ale House on the 14th of July, Bastille Day. And they've got an the institutional case for digital assets, June 17th. So that's coming up very soon. And then the last one is Swimming with the Sharks on the 17th.
Yeah, the institutional case for digital assets tomorrow is actually a really cool event. I've participated in that in the past through the EDA. And what they do is they go over everything. So they go over how to manage all of your assets and convert them into a digital format. Swimming with Sharks is one of the new ones that they've presenting, and that's actually cool. It's a guy who has been on Shark Tank, the TV show Shark Tank, and it's a session where he trains you on how to get on the show. So if you have an idea that you think you might be able to get on there, by all means, talk to him. It could be a fun experience.
Thanks, Tony. Next slide, please. Want to thank everybody today. We all know that entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. We do a lot of things by ourselves, and 1 Million Cups, we meet regularly so that you don't have to be by yourself. We want to support everybody, and we all learn from each other. On behalf of our organization and team, we invite you to join us every Wednesday morning. So see you next week. Next slide, please. Is there one more? Yeah, I thought so. We are part of the Kauffman Foundation, and they have over 151 million cups around the country, which all meet at 9 o'clock in the morning, the same time. Well, obviously 9 o'clock in whatever time zone they're in. And they really support everything that we do. And we're really happy to be part of the Kauffman Foundation family. Thank you for coming. Continue to network. And we will be here to answer any questions anybody might have.
Don't forget to tell your friends. Everyone.
Yep.